All right, we're live again. Sorry, everybody. We lost the stream. We are back now. Don't know what happened. We didn't pause the movie, so
That's what happened to me last week. That's so weird.
I'll look through the features later and figure out. Hopefully they didn't institute like, oh, your stream can only be so long now, because if they did, that's a pain in the ass.
That is a pain.
I hope they didn't. I'm hoping it's just like my internet just flubbed or something. But yeah. So I'm just gonna hold on. I'm just gonna reshare this one, just so. Okay, no, it came up just now. So okay, we good. That's a pain in the ass. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully it's just a glitch and not a thing. Because if it turns out that they're limiting how long we can stream on this, we may have to stop doing this, unfortunately.
Yeah, no.
Unless it's like, I don't know. It doesn't even be said here. Jar Jar is here in peril, and nobody is trying to help him until Padme is like, "Okay, fine, I'll save your ass."
It's because he's super annoying and no one cares.
Yeah. At that point, I'm just like, kid, just turn on the engine, kill him. Just turn on the engine. Don't look forward. Don't look back. Just turn on the engine and murder him. Yeah. So yeah, and the pod racer, it works.
Like, what they should have done about Anakin's father, it's just been like, I don't know who he was. Because she's been a slave, it's very plausible for things to have happened.
Well, a lot of times, even in ancient Rome, there were points of like, you grew up a slave. Who's your dad? You have no idea.
Because as dark as that is, it's at least a more plausible explanation than just, oh, he was fathered by the Force.
Yeah. What? Well, even in ancient Rome, women slaves, I hate to say it, women, you were not treated well in history, but female slaves, if a guy liked you, congratulations, you're in his bed.
When you're in these situations, that's like, and you didn't even say it in so many words. You could have just.
Yeah, I didn't know who his father was.
Do you know who the father is? No, and just leave it at that.
Yeah,
but no, she makes a point to say that there literally was no father.
Yeah,
and it goes as far as what's his face literally says he was fathered by the Force. Like, really?
Although that does remind me of I read a story. I don't know if this is true or not, but I did read a story about apparently in ancient Sparta. A woman gave birth and started using her son as like, no, this child is actually a child of like some prominent member, and used that to bring herself out of slavery. I don't know if that's true or not, so don't quote me on that, but I do remember reading a story.
She's not even doing that with her.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know. Like, she just said, I don't know, I got pregnant and I had a kid, and he was just there.
Yeah. Because seriously. I mean, I'm just gonna ask you, how would you feel if you just automatically got pregnant and you never? Well, granted, you have a husband, so I'm assuming you'd have a, but still. So yeah, maybe you're not the proper. I should probably go ask like someone who doesn't have friends, who isn't related to someone like that.
I mean, at that point, I would be like, did I go to any parties? I don't have I lost memory somewhere. Like,
yeah, was there a night? There was just a night where you got super drunk, which. I'm sorry, I just remembered a personal story that I don't know if I should share on screen or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, it's a very. I just don't like how they made him like God of the Force.
Yeah, and again, we see the same models in the background that we saw in Watto's junkyard earlier. They're the exact same models, which, like I said, what they did is it's what they did when they made the entire fleet in The Rise of Skywalker. They took a bunch of ship models that they just had, and they used that for the CGI. That's it. That's literally the only thing. Because Liam Neeson here, oh my God, you can really tell he's green screen there. Oh my God, that was bad. But yeah, literally Liam Neeson here and maybe a few of the background extras are the only people there. Everything else is green screen.
Yeah.
So maybe the Twilight Girl's there, maybe, but yeah, the majority of that is all.
Bad for all the Twilight girls there, right? Because they're there and they're just preening something.
Yeah, they're
that's just green. Some dude in a green screen suit. They're just playing with his feet right now.
Yep. And that guy is having the time of his life. Because he's getting his feet massaged by these women set in Twilight costumes. So, yeah. And here, Chance Coop. This part always bugged me because you would think it'd be like, oh, there are 3 sides blues, 3 sides red. But apparently there's only 1 blue side and the rest are red.
It's because Grotto lied about.
Yeah. Although I do like that he used the Force to make it land, and then where Waddle looks at him, he's just like, "Hey, don't look at me, dude. I didn't." I do love that moment.
Well, because Grotto's dice is probably weighted to land on red, so.
Yeah. Although that part, but what were they doing? Were they riding on these things? Which does remind me, there was something I was gonna mention earlier, but I kind of got distracted. They mentioned that where he's like, Watto's like, what are you doing? Wave your hand around. You trying to do a Jedi mind trick? You don't have. They make it that he's a species that can resist it. Don't make him a species that can resist it. Just say he has a decent fucking mind. Seriously.
No, but I mean, it's because the books and stuff had species that did weird things with the Force. I don't think it's all that out of it for him to say something like that.
Yeah, I get that, but still, it's so much easier just to say he has a decent mind. It's a lot easier than setting up a whole species. Which, granted, because there are species apparently the Hutts are also apparently very hard to influence like that. But again, did those come out before this movie or after this movie? Because if they came out after this movie, then yeah. But if they came out beforehand, like I said, just say he has a decent mind. And here we go, Greg Proops as this alien. Which, to be fair, you know what? I love it. I love Greg Proops because Greg Proops is hilarious. So yeah, 100% love it. And yeah, here we see green screen models of just everything. Yeah. Oh, the character in the background there you see with 4 arms. That's a problem. Is if you watch 2 of the arms, they're literally just mimicking what the other 2 arms are doing. So that's what they did a lot of times especially in the olden days.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of times in the olden days, what they would do if you have a character with 4 arms, you literally just tie the wrist of the fake arm to the real wrist, and then that way it would just move with the arm. And that's pretty much what they did there with the CCG. Oh my god, that is crappy CG there. Okay,
the CGI of this movie has not aged the best.
Yeah, I am really. Yeah, the characters in the background. Oh wow, that one's really bad there.
The characters just stand out so much against the background.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, that's distracting. Young Anakin Skywalker, the lucky boy. Yeah, and the flags. So every driver apparently has their own individual flag.
Sure.
You know what? Whatever. Because I mean, in football teams, every team has a logo. You know what? I'm willing to go with it. I'm willing to buy it. At this part here, or not here, I guess, but there's a part coming up. Okay, I understand that her mom is obviously gonna be his mom's gonna be be safe. I don't want to lose my only son. But here, Watto coming up and deliberately sabotages another pod racer. Right. Wouldn't that be noticed? Is no one looking around?
That's what I want to know. How are there not? But isn't Tatooine is known for its criminal element? Yeah. So obviously the referees are probably bought off to look the other way, so he can go and do shit like that. That's assuming there are even referees. Period. So exactly.
So yeah, well, on that part, that always gets me. He goes, "Whoa!" when he's being picked up, and he's gonna use this pod racer at the speed of sound, which, by the way, yeah, thank you. But if you actually, there was a Star Wars pod racer video game which I did play. If you use those mile per hour that they use in the game, these things are literally breaking the sound barrier. And here we got Jabba the Hutt, which is well, hold on. I thought there was supposed to be like there is a second hut there. There's another hut there in the background. That part always got me. It's like because when I first saw this movie, my assumption would be like this would be Jabba's father, and then Jabba would be the little one in the background, but apparently not.
No, yeah.
And do we see people running directly in front of the pod races when they're turned on? If you actually do that with a jet engine, you're gonna die because it's gonna suck you right in.
Well, obviously, when they planned this, they were going off of like NASCAR racing and not actual physics of jet engines.
No, but no, there's an actual video of a guy on an aircraft carrier who was walking in front of an EA Prowler craft that was turned on, and he wasn't crouching down. He was just high enough up to get actually sucked into the aircraft. And the guy thankfully survived because his helmet flew off into the airplane and stopped and killed the engine. But wow. He got lucky because had his helmet not gone off, he would have died. But like I said, I've seen the video of him getting actually sucked up into the engine before. Oh man, if I can find that, I'll send it to you because it's like
pod racing is just so like.
By the way, the guy who got sucked up into the engine, he had a son. Guess what they named their son?
Jet.
Blade, because specifically because the blades of the aircraft. So and we all take off, and apparently Anakin's craft just sucks because it just
like
stalls
how if that little coupling, like not even a coupling, if that little knob that Sebulba knocked off is this critical, don't you think they would have checked it? Oh look, there's Warwick Davis.
Yeah, I just saw him too. Well, I mean, I knew he was in this movie, but I didn't realize that was him until now. Like I said, I knew he was in this movie because he was like. No, because there was a big.
Warwick Davis played Wicket. The Ewok in episode 6.
But but like I said, I knew he was in this movie because I remember reading it like somewhere, like George Lucas, like he was like George Lucas saying, "Put me in the movie. I don't care if I'm just the background." He just wanted to be in the movie somewhere, and there he was. I didn't realize that was him until you pointed it out.
I never realized. I mean, I may have realized it, but I completely forgot until just right now.
Mind you, I've never had my eyes on him before, so. But apparently Anakin's craft really is awesome now because he's passing beat, even though he had a late start.
A super late start.
And Aurora's staying there.
If he was going fast enough to catch up to people, you think he would just like pass them all by. But then again, it takes time, especially with this bottleneck, to like actually get around people. So fine. Catching up is one thing. The passing is a different art altogether. Yeah.
Although this part coming up here is one that really gets me. Hold on here. It's pretty much right after they get to this stuff. Dude, pay attention to where you're. Because that guy was literally looking back and then he crashed. It's like, dude, pay attention. You're driving a craft.
Yeah.
But here, the Tusken Raiders are apparently the rednecks of the world and just shoot at anything that comes driving by. But it makes me wonder, is that part of the race? Is that part of the race that they hire Tusken Raiders to go out on the course and take pop shots?
They probably don't even need to hire. If Tusken Raiders literally just shoot at anything that goes by them, they probably aren't even paid. It's probably just, this is the part of the track that goes through Tusken Raider territory. There's a chance you're going to get shot.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so Watto was sitting somewhere different there. Oh, they also have They also, but hold on.
I feel like if you have a
hold on. Here's what pit droid gets stuck in the engine. Except the pit droid would not be coming out of there like that. The pit droid would be destroyed. Because we see the pit droid fly out of there like, woohoo! It's like, no, he's dead. Yeah.
He's going to make some great gains this last lap. Oh, no, he has 2 more laps.
They have 2 more laps, yeah. But yeah, he has to really be going. Yeah, and I do like this. It's completely stupid and pointless in the movie, but I like how he's got this character just like popcorn, beer, just handing out refreshments. I do love that. What's this? I forget about this. What's this guy trying to do? Because he just has he has like a rear view mirror. Oh, he's trying to block him off. Because this was not in the original. I know this was not in the original I saw. Oh yeah, that was clever. And apparently Rami is just totally. Oh my god! Yeah, good luck getting that to work in real life.
So the whole point,
like you said, he's right. Yeah, he's right on Sebulba's tail now.
On it to win stuff because their Republic credits are no good on Tatooine.
They have to have some. They have to have some form of currency. And here, he just threw a grenade back. Seriously.
Yeah.
This part. Okay, this was not in the original I seen. I do not remember Anakin flipping around behind. Yeah, he'd be unconscious now. Because if you flip it around like that, all the blood would rush to your brain. You would be unconscious in an instant. Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, I'm pretty sure some of this was in
Okay, hold on. If you're gonna do this,
I did not watch this enough when it first came out I didn't even know they made enhancements to this movie.
No, I know for damn certain that was not a thing. But here's the thing. But I'm gonna say, just hold on. He's supposed to be Force sensitive. If you're gonna have that in there, have him use the Force to pull it back to him.
No, because he's Force sensitive in the fact that he can dodge things that he knows are coming, but he can't outright use the Force. He doesn't know it that well.
Yeah.
So if I feel like a good scene would be of him swerving to dodge the sand people.
Like if Sebulba threw another grenade back.
That he's Force sensitive, right? I would expect stuff like that.
So, for just as an example, if Sebulba threw another grenade back, he would avoid it or something like that.
I would expect stuff like that. He accidentally predicts things that are about to happen rather than use the Force to telekinetically move stuff. Although
it does need to be said there, Anakin's pod racer is clearly faster than Sebulba's, because if you watch Sebulba, when Sebulba's doing the turns, Anakin has to slow down a lot, but then catches back up, and then it happens again where he has to slow down a lot to make the turn, but then again catches back up on the straightaways. But here, this part always gets me. How do you not recognize that this is giving him the advantage? You are giving him a huge speed advantage because he's going to come down at an angle, and he's going to just he is now going Mach 4. Seriously.
Maybe he was hoping that Anakin was a terrible pilot, would go up in the air like that, lose all whatever, and then just crash.
And just panic, maybe. Yeah. Oh, it apparently hit the ground there. Yeah, here we got it. Apparently he's trying to kill the Force.
Except these two, how do they even have pod races regularly? I feel like they would constantly need to rebuild these things. This is really expensive.
No doubt. Yeah, no, we got the part here where the part that Sebulba knocked loose comes off, yet apparently it only just starts a fire. I do like that part where he's keeping the smoke right in Sebulba's face because fuck you. But yeah, your pod's on fire. You would. By the way, if your actual engine's on fire, stop. Don't continue driving. Freaking stop.
Yeah, if your car engine's on fire, you really need to stop driving. Pull over and just leave the car.
Yeah. Although that is how you would stop a fire like that. If your engine's on fire, literally cut all the oxygen off to it, and that will kill the fire. So, but yeah.
That is true. Science.
And I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to explain. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, if you have a rocket that's on fire that's sucking in air, kill the air intake. that will kill the plane. I mean, that's like, if you're in space and you have a fire, what's your best choice of action? Literally seal off all the compartments that have people in them and then just vent everything else into space.
Yep.
Because fire needs oxygen to survive. So
yes, it does.
That's
why there aren't actually any explosions in space. All the explosions we see in Star Wars wouldn't actually happen because you can't have fires in space.
Yeah. Which I was going to get onto later. But it does need to be said, there are some, like black powder is a great example of, it's actually self-oxidizing. So if you were to if black powder were to ignite even in space, it would burn just because, like I said, it's self-oxidizing.
Yeah.
Which is why black powder doesn't really burn. It goes boom. Because that's what happens. This part always gets me. We have Sebulba's pod racer, which is freaking huge, and Anakin's pod racer, which is tiny, and he's able to outpush Sebulba. That's not how it works. That would be like saying a little Corvette can outpush an F-150. It doesn't work that way.
So at this point, every pod except for Anakin's has crashed. So again, how often do they have these pod races? Because if this happens every race, how?
I do need to point out where we see Sebulba sliding around and he crashes and he goes, poodoo. The problem is even at this point they knew what poodoo means. Poodoo literally means food. That is literally what he means. So literally what he did is he crashed and goes, food. It's like, seriously, you could have made up a curse word or something. Seriously. Yeah, Warwick Davis there in the background. And Jabba just fell asleep because, seriously.
Well, he doesn't care about pod racing.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
He wins no matter what, right?
There's in ancient Roman history, where like an emperor would go to like a horse race in the Colosseum and he'd fall asleep because he doesn't give a shit. Apparently Nero did that sometimes. Granted, Nero apparently killed people if they didn't find his speeches epic enough. So yeah, and there we see Sebulba paying off his bets because he bet everything. You're an idiot. Seriously. I mean, would you ever bet your entire life save? Would you bet everything your savings accounts as well as your house on a bet? I sure as hell hope not. If you would, you have a serious addiction problem.
Yes.
Seriously. I mean, mind you, I do know that there are gambling addicts out there. Yes, I understand that. I recognize that. But seriously, if you have a problem, get help.
Yes.
Seriously, if you are gambling away everything like this, seek help, please.
And if you don't have any money, it is not a good idea to bet it all in some kind of game in hopes that you're going to make it back.
Yeah, no doubt.
The people who succeed at that are the exception. It's just the odds are not in your favor.
Well, it's exactly why so many people, I mean, even people who win the lottery end up poor again.
That's why a lot of people who get rich quick, or even like a lot of athletes when they retire, you get used to the lifestyle of having the money, and then you don't know what to do when the income stops coming.
Yeah. Which is just, that's something that always gets me. Which, granted, my parents raised me very much of, you better start getting used to saving money. So like a great example is I had a retirement package through a company I used to work for. I can't mention the company's name. They will sue me. I don't, and by the way, I'm not saying that facetiously. I mean legitimately. When I quit, lawyers were involved. So yeah. I had a retirement package, and I had it set up through my IRA, but then just recently they changed the rules, which made it more beneficial for me to pull it out and put it into a different account. So yeah, that was a fun time. But here's the thing, that happened like almost 2 years ago now, and I still have that money saved. Yeah, so, not all of it, mind you, not all of it. I used a bunch of it to like I put a bunch of it towards my car because my car is several months paid up in advance. All my bills are paid up through the end, not only the end of this month, but a lot of times in the end of next month. So let me just put it this way. I've had times where it's like, yippee, yeah. Are you going to do that every time something happens?
No, I'm gonna do it every time he says it.
Ah.
Because it's so fun to hear Darth Vader go, yippee! I'm out of beer.
I now want to hear James Earl Jones go, yippee.
Oh my.
I want to, that needs to be a thing. James Earl Jones, please, God, just do it. Oh my gosh. Just, oh man, when we get to New Hope, just where he's flying the TIE fighter, yippee!
Yes!
Oh man. But yeah, no, Jeez. But seriously, look at the size of her house.
No, that
like
is,
I said, she's got a kick-ass house. Her house is bigger than my apartment.
Like, you'd kind of, I don't even know. This thing is so weird. You'd think that she would have maybe like share it with like 5 other, people of the same status or something smaller.
Yeah. Well, that's what in especially ancient slaves, it's like you slept with all the other slaves. You didn't have a bedroom. You had a dormitory with all the other beds in a line. So yeah, like my apartment here, which I mean, you could say the slaves would live in a studio apartment like mine. My apartment is maybe big enough for one other person, and we would have to be very friendly. And when I say that, I mean like it would have to be like either my wife or my kid. But seriously, there's not much else room. Yeah. Yeah, this part here, it's like they're trying to give a whole. Well, what I think they're trying to do is he's supposed to be trying to be like, oh, he's torn between does he want to leave his mom or does he want to go with quiet? That's what the moment they're supposed to be trying to go for. It doesn't work.
You kind of get that.
It just doesn't work as well.
When you watch A New Hope and you know that Anakin Skywalker has kids, like that Luke Skywalker is Anakin's son, and you hear like how Uncle Owen talks about his brother Anakin. You just get the idea, like they set up the idea that one, Jedi can have families, and 2,
Keanu Mooney apparently has families.
Exactly. You don't have to be a young kid to start learning, like. And then you see this movie, and they're like, oh, Anakin's way too old, even at 9, to start using the Force. And they have this whole Jedi don't have families, they can't have attachments. And you're like, this contradicts pretty much everything you set up in the original trilogy.
Yeah, but I mean, another thing that is set up in the original trilogy is like the Jedi were, secret and not well known, but apparently in this, they're running the fucking galaxy almost. They're so common you can send them to a literal trade dispute.
Yeah.
And again, Ray Park, because for some reason I don't know why, but they didn't use Ray Park for the actual voice of Darth Maul. I don't know why. And this part here, flies off the bottom of a cliff. That would hurt.
It looks cool.
Yeah. And just like, don't worry, it's fine. This part here, this is meme so much. Darth Maul sees a kid, doesn't know why this kid's important, and tries to run him over.
The Clone Wars, and he's talking to Ahsoka, and he's like, I have to kill Anakin. Dude, you missed your chance. You could have prevented everything right there. If you would have just killed him instead of Qui-Gon. Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah, Obi-Wan, go help. Yeah, this part here, it's like, but this part comes to part that gets, which granted, considering this movie is clearly different from the one I remember, maybe we'll actually see a scene where, okay, Qui-Gon jumps up, Darth Maul, follow him up.
But yeah, why doesn't Darth Maul jump up behind him?
No, what should happen is Darth Maul jumps up behind him, and then Qui-Gon bats him down or something.
Right.
But here we see it's apparently Darth Maul just kicked his ass. It's because he specifically says he was well trained and the Jedi aren't. What? Seriously? How poorly trained are the Jedi? Seriously, you'd think they'd have classes.
They're very poorly trained.
Yeah, they just got complacent. They suck at their jobs. Yeah. Which, granted, here's the thing. What I was saying. Anakin should be older. Anakin in this film, I think, should be like at least 14, 15.
Well, again, when we watch A New Hope and you see the scene where Uncle Owen, like, Luke brings up old Ben, Kenobi, and like Uncle Owen gets really upset.
A great line is he's so much like his father.
His teenage brother to go off and become a Jedi and fight the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So this movie does not match at all anything that like is brought up about the past in A New Hope.
Yeah,
and that's what irritates me.
Yeah. But like I said, it's like they have that whole, in A New Hope, they have that whole, he's got too much of his father in him. That's what I'm afraid of. Seriously, have it be, because I mean, they meet in Attack of the Clones, but they only meet each other for like maybe
exactly.
It's like how long do they get to know each other?
Like, why couldn't Owen actually be his brother? Like, why couldn't right now Shmi have two sons, and like the Jedi only are interested in Anakin and taking him away for obvious reasons, and leave Owen with Shmi behind. Mm-hmm. Like, instead of him being like his stepbrother with a different father. Like, it's like I said, these prequels just don't. And it would have been easy to fix too. Lucas wasn't trying.
Well, I mean, that's the part where, like I mentioned when we did Revenge of the Sith, where Obi-Wan picks up Anakin's lightsaber and takes it with. That was added on in post because George Lucas forgot about it. And a lot of that is a big part of what
30 years of the first three movies existing, and when he made the prequels, he didn't remember anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, it's exactly the same problem we mentioned when we did the sequel trilogy. No one took a notebook. No one watched these movies and took down notes of. Okay,
because here's the thing. Like, when you have movies that have existed for 30 years, and or I guess 20 years when these came out, and like you have huge fans, like George R.R. Martin employs a fan to like tell him if something he's doing contradicts something he's already done. Like, how hard is it to find the number one fan in your fan club and hire them to do that crap?
Ian McKellen did this in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. When they were filming shot, Ian McKellen would have the Lord of the Rings book open to what they were shooting and would reference the book. I mean, literally, there were points where he did that better than Peter Jackson. Like, a great example of when they were shooting The Hobbit, where Thorin Oakenshield gets all pissed off at Bilbo's about to throw him over the wall, and Gandalf says, he says a specific line. I don't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head, but Peter Jackson wrote down a separate line he was supposed to say, but Ian McKellen's like, no, it says this in the book. I need to say this. So yeah, it's like you need to references. You need to like if you're making your prequel like this, you need to sit down, watch the original movies, and with a notebook and say, okay, this is important. I need to mention this. Okay, there's a plot thread. I need to tie that.
Exactly. Because like,
so I mean,
and the sad thing is too is it's a 5-minute conversation Luke has with Owen. It's very quick and A New Hope. How do you not like bring that up and be like, okay, this is the slim frame that I've already set that I need to like work around?
Yeah.
He still left it very open. Like you said, if this movie would have taken place like 5 years later, it would have been like 5 years later and he already have his brother Owen. It would fit. It would fit fine. But they don't do that.
Did Jar Jar just say the Queen has a thing for you?
I missed it.
I missed what he said, but I think that's what I'm tempted to stop and rewind it because Jar Jar because there's a whole scene where Jar Jar looks back at Padme, then looks at Anakin and does this like, oh, she's got a thing for you type thing.
You're 9. No one has a thing for you. I'm sorry.
No, but that's what it looked like what's happening. Because like I said, I didn't hear what Jar Jar said.
Who's this? Is this Padme or Keira Knightley?
This one here. Hold on, because she's in the background. She's kind of blurred. Hold on. Keira Knightley?
No, this one's Padme.
That one is Padme? Okay.
Because Padme wants to be the actual one to talk to the Chancellor here.
Okay,
instead of leaving it to her handmaid.
But again, the freaking outfits she's wearing are just...
The makeup and the outfits. Apparently, Keira Knightley's own mother couldn't recognize Keira Knightley when she was in the makeup.
Wow. Which does need to be said. Keira Knightley in this role, this is her first major role, and she's just a freaking poor background character until she did Pirates of the Caribbean and became Keira fucking Knightley.
Yep.
Which we'll get to Pirates of the Caribbean someday. Don't worry.
I love Pirates. I watched it just for Orlando Bloom, but we'll come back to Natalie Portman right here.
Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean 1, really good. Pirates of the Caribbean 2, yeah, well, it's enjoyable, but it does have its moments. Pirates of the Caribbean 3, again, enjoyable, it has its moments. Pirates of the Caribbean 4, kind of stupid.
5 was even worse.
I didn't see 5.
I did because they're like, we're bringing back Orlando Bloom, and I was like, hooray! And it was worth it for the last 5 minutes.
Why, do you see him shirtless?
No, it was just fun to see him again, and he's only in it for 5 minutes.
Okay, so clearly we need to do Troy sometime just so because he's in that movie too.
Did I see Troy just for Orlando Bloom? You bet I did.
Of course he did. I won't tell you. Seriously, with the way you're fawning over Orlando Bloom, I'm like, I feel bad for your husband. I'm joking, obviously. We should also mention in the background, if you look, there's a female Yoda that's Yaddle.
It is a female Yoda, yeah.
Yeah, Yaddle, which you know what? Why do you have Samuel L. Jackson hired if you're not going to have Samuel L. Jackson be Samuel L. fucking Jackson?
Because he wanted to be in the movie?
I guess.
I actually have no idea.
Although granted, if you look at a lot of these Jedi, a lot of Jedi on the council, you'll see them in like the Clone Wars and shit like that, and they just die. Or the one that right in the background there, they just die in spectacularly, amazingly stupid ways. Like one of the Jedi's in the background there, he's basically a giant tentacle thing. Yeah. And he dies because someone literally snuck up behind him and stabbed him. It's like, seriously?
Well, you see most of these guys die in the third movie.
Yeah.
Like you see Ki-Adi-Mundi die. You see
at least Ki-Adi-Mundi puts him a fight before he dies. Seriously.
Yeah, I think you see Fo Clune there. I think that's his name. Die.
You see him crash.
Billabong, you don't see die because that's the setup for the TV show Rebels. Mm-hmm. Is that she was with her Padawan and he escapes. You actually don't see her die on screen. Yeah.
Okay, and this one here, is that Keira Knightley?
No, that's Padme telling him that Padme's not here.
Wow. Wow. You're just trolling the poor kid now.
Yes. This is the best scene. People make fun of this scene because there's 4 handmaids in it, or 3 handmaids in it, right? Or maybe it's 4. Yeah. Anyway, there's 3 handmaids in it and Padme, the queen. Yeah. And as far as Anakin knows, there's only 3 handmaids. So if 3 handmaids are in the room and Padme's not one of them,
he's really bad at math.
Exactly.
That is spectacularly stupid.
Yes.
Wow.
So that scene is called the Anakin can't count scene because he should be aware that all handmaids are accounted for and none of them are Padme.
Granted, I wasn't looking through and counting, but yeah, that's astounding. That's wow. Yeah, here.
That's the Chancellor right now. It's the Chancellor. It's Terrence Stamp. It's General God.
Thank you. I was wondering who was going to mention it, me or you, but thank you for mentioning.
Of course, I'm going to know General Zod. Superman 2 is the best Superman movie.
Kneel before Zod. Okay, we should also probably do the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, except for the 4th one, which is just, oh my dear God, stupid.
I've never seen the third or fourth one.
But hold on, this part getting me. He's going, there's no proof, there's no proof. How is there not proof? We have the Queen here saying it's true. We have 2 Jedi who were there saying it's true. We have a message, or at least we had a message saying that the death toll is catastrophic. Apparently they didn't save that message, though. Seriously?
Yep.
You have all the proof you need. All you have to do is bring it up. I mean, granted, a lot of it is, you know, like eyewitness accounts, which granted are not exactly reliable, but still, 2 of them are Jedi. You think that'd be like, okay.
But that's the thing, right? It's the 2 Jedi the counselor himself sent to have negotiations, and they came back saying, hey, the Trade Federation tried to kill us and are now trying to invade Naboo. You sent us because you trusted us. This is our report, and you don't believe it?
Bingo. Seriously. And there's some Wookiees in the background there, which is kind of cool. Apparently, there are ETs. Oh, yeah, there they are. Yep, yeah, in the background. I knew they were somewhere in this movie. I didn't know they were right there, but yep, there they were. And apparently it's very easy to get a new chancellor. All you have to do is say, I have no confidence in you, so we're going to vote for a new one. You think there'd be a little bit more practicality, you know, more of a thing than that?
Well, you have to persuade the Senate, the whole Senate, that he is incompetent and needs to be replaced, which is like a big part of it. And then you have to, and again, I'd be like, hey, the Senate, this chancellor sent 2 Jedi and now don't trust them. Like, what kind of chancellor do we have right now? But you would expect that vote to take a while, right?
Yeah, that would take a while. That wouldn't take 5 seconds.
No.
And here we got, they're testing him. It's like, that's a crappy test, though.
Right? What's on the screen? When in Clone Wars, you know that they can tell if a child is, like, born force sensitive. How did Anakin, like, pass under the radar?
Which does need to be, which before we go on, I want to mention this. When we see Yoda, we see this Yoda looks pretty good. In the original theatrical release, that puppet Yoda was horrible. I mean, there's literally parodies, like, there's like a parody of, like someone just took a green sock and put like little paper ears on it, and that looks almost more convincing. It is spectacularly bad.
You're like, how in 20 years, how did puppetry get worse? Like,
yeah, no doubt. Which, I mean, granted, I understand. I mean, you could say, oh, he's supposed to be younger, but it's like, at this point, he's supposed to be 800, 900 years old. I'm pretty sure you're not going to notice 20
like,
years.
What, 870.
Yeah, versus 900. So, good luck.
Exactly. And in a lifespan of 900 years, is 30 years really that big of a difference?
No.
It's like 5 years, right? Like,
they have that in The Mandalorian where Baby Yoda has been around for 50 years and he's still an infant.
Well, I still feel like 50-year-old Yoda would still be a little older than a toddler.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me.
But it does.
If your lifespan is 900, 50 still feels like you should be out of it.
You're still, yeah. Okay, this one here, is this one Padme? Or this one Natalie Portman? Or
oh crap, I don't remember.
I don't even remember the scene from
talking to the chancellor.
You recognize?
I'm still pretty sure it's Natalie Portman because she's having a real conversation with him.
Time out. Jar Jar holds the life thing with Qui-Gon.
Yes.
Why is he not with Qui-Gon?
That's a good question.
Which, granted, why is it a Jedi wouldn't be allowed to accept a life thing like that, a life debt? Because seriously, he's kind of your slave now, and the Jedi don't believe in slavery, so wouldn't it be you have to free him from his life debt?
Yeah, this is definitely still Natalie Portman.
Okay. Yeah, because she's making decisions without consulting anybody. So, okay.
The first, up until I Googled this like a few months ago, I literally thought that anytime you saw the Queen, it was Keira Knightley. Up until the end of the movie.
Yeah, up until it's revealed that, oh, by the way, I'm the Queen.
I can't tell them apart. And so until the reveal at the end when Padme's like, I'm the Queen, I thought the entire movie before that was the fake Queen.
Well, I was kind of thinking that too, but
no, they switch back and forth. Nobody knows. No one ever notices.
Yeah. Yeah, this part here is like, okay, Obi-Wan's ready for the trials. Wouldn't they already know that? Because like for example, when you're in high school, the school knows your grades. Which reminds
Plus, it's not. I mean, Ewan McGregor is 28. Like, he's probably a little older than what Ben Kenobi's supposed to be right now. Obi-Wan's supposed to be. But still, given that Anakin later is 19 when he gets a 14-year-old Padawan, like, how long do you actually stay a Padawan? Like, I feel like teenage years is about the time when you go through testing at some point.
Yeah.
So clearly, Obi-Wan's probably a little old to be a Padawan at this point.
Yeah. If I'm tempted to use like ancient like friars and like ancient like how they set up like being friars and priests back in the day. If that were back then you would become an adult. You would become an adult by 11. So I clearly can't do that.
No.
Yeah, because Anakin's 9 and which, by the way, I'm not making that up. Way back in the day, like in medieval times, you were considered a man at 11. At 11. So, like, when the Titanic sank, they're saying women and children first. What's the age limit? If you're 11, congratulations, you're dying. Which, granted, I'm not sure if at the time of Titanic it had expanded beyond that or not, but
I would say it would have, because at the time of the Titanic was only a few years before World War I, at which point you had to be 18 to be able to enlist.
Yeah, 1912 is when the Titanic sank, and 1914 is when World War I. Which reminds me, there are so many stupid conspiracy theories. Okay, here's the problem.
Now's not the time, Jacob. We're watching Star Wars.
I'll stop. Thank you. You gotta pause because I like to go on history rants.
If we ever watch Titanic, I'll let you go into the conspiracy then.
Yeah. You realize I'm going to be telling you this conspiracy after. Yeah. We'll split it into two. I do want to do Titanic, though. I do want to do Titanic at some point, but that is something where it's like we'll have to dedicate a day to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had thought of, like, when we do Lord of the Rings, what we'll actually do is, like, we'll wake up early at, like, 9 o'clock and do all 3 of the movies at once. But even then, that's torture. So I don't think we'll do that. But oh, shut up!
Shut up, Jar Jar.
Yeah. I do need to mention there's a scene there in if you watch the bloopers, there's a point where R2-D2 literally falls over because you see Liam Neeson and Jake Lloyd talking, and then all of a sudden they just both look over because R2 fell forward.
How many outfits did Padme bring with her? Because I don't think they actually had any luggage, and yet the Queen has changed at least 3 times since they left.
Apparently, you see how her ship has that giant nose section. Apparently, that entire nose section is her wardrobe.
So it was just pre-packed. It always just has all of her clothes in it. Okay.
Yeah, apparently that's what the lore says, but that's really fucking stupid.
I'll take it.
Okay, there, the purple hair. I think I see Padme in the background, so I'm gonna assume that's Keira Knightley.
No, it's Padme.
That is Padme. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I saw one in the background that looked like Natalie Portman. So
no, that's probably Keira Knightley.
Okay, so Well, the two do look alike, so
they do.
Which which we should probably mention this. We got Captain Panaka in this movie, who doesn't appear in any of the other movies, because he was supposed to be in all the movies, but unfortunately there was he had some dispute with George Lucas about something. I don't even think it was about pay. I literally do not remember what it was about, but he ended up not appearing in the later movies.
But he's in the Clone Wars, I thought. The TV show.
He is in the Clone Wars, but I think that's specific. I think when he's specifically on. I think it's they're specifically on Naboo.
No, he's in the next movie too.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. I could have sworn he was in the beginning sequence when the ship blows up.
He might be in a scene, but he's not. He's not a thing. He's not.
I mean, that's fair. I'm still pretty sure he's in the opening scene, though.
Okay. I don't think so. When we watch this, we're gonna be like, our eyes are gonna be open on every character. So, yeah. And here, there's nobody there. There's no one home in our very obviously noticeable city. Who would have thunk? What was the plan there? They were going to send Jar Jar down to get the group. Wasn't it that they were... Yeah, there we can see it's clearly Keira Knightley in the outfit and Padme right behind her.
Yep.
So, but here's the thing. The first time Jar Jar went down there, he was going to be punished, which we're just going to assume means executed. Why would you send him down there alone? Wouldn't they just shoot him on sight?
Well, now he's protected by his life debt to Qui-Gon, so you would think that
he went down alone that time.
Would have gone with him. Exactly. No, that made no sense to send Jar Jar by himself.
I mean, here it makes sense because he's not alone. He's bringing an entire group of people.
Right.
Here it makes sense. Oh, God. I just noticed he walks with these exaggerated, Bigfoot hand movements.
Yes. Everything Jar Jar does is comedic, which is why he's annoying. When everything you do is funny, nothing you do is funny.
It ceases to be funny. Yeah, and here it's obvious. Yeah, you see freaking Natalie Portman right behind her.
Right.
Which... Don't have it be right behind her. Have her be one that you don't see. Have her be one of the far background. And here, you just see Carolina like shit. Yeah, and everybody except for Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan is and Panaka is going, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the look
you can even
them.
see these who are yeah, we know.
Given their exchange earlier, though, with the queen, he didn't want to take her with him to Tatooine. You're like, did Qui-Gon know the whole time?
Yeah.
Or was he also hoodwinked?
Well, the reason I say that is because you see Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, they give each other a look, and the look is very much like yeah, we got it. Yeah, we knew. It's almost like, about time you told us. And everybody except R2-D2 gets on their knees, but granted, R2-D2 can't get on his knees. So.
No, R2-D2 is...
Which, granted, how the hell is R2-D2 walking on that? How is R2-D2 able to maneuver himself on the ground floor like that? Because that's not going to be even ground.
No, there's twigs and leaves and just all kinds of crap.
Yeah. You'd think he'd just trip on something and fall over because he's also very top heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, because here's the thing. I mean, there are people who actually make R2-D2s. They're it's if you're actually using this, you have to make sure it's on very level ground because they tip over so easily.
Yeah.
I mean, well, because Kenny Baker apparently, Kenny Baker had fell over in the R2-D2 costume. Over a dozen times in the actual shooting of the originals, which it does need to be said here. In a movie where almost everything is green screen, they put Kenny Baker back in a fucking trash can, and they couldn't just, green screen him.
Seriously? How do you not have better robotics at this time to drive R2-D2?
Yeah. What? Yeah, because like I said, he's legit. That's still Kenny Baker in a freaking trash can, which is just, I feel so bad for him. And here we got Jar Jar just Yeah, I'm singing all sorts of praise on you. Although I will say, this part here where he's like General, and he's like, and then Jar Jar passes out. He walks away laughing. It's almost like you're gonna die, and I'm gonna love it. It's almost like I'm sentencing you to death now in a good way, which makes me want to go on a history rant, but I'll bite my tongue.
Yep.
You have to watch me unless we're doing a specifically historical movie. Yeah. How would you not know the Battles of the Diversion? Wouldn't you be the one coming up with this plan? You're the head of the security detail.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Yeah, but apparently no. Apparently only the Queen can come up with this plan. But no, because like I said, you'd think the Jedi and the security detail would be and the Gungan King there, whatever his name is, would be the guys coming up with said plan, not the Queen. Yeah, once we're inside the throne room, we shouldn't have a problem. You mean once you have the guy captured, you shouldn't have a problem? No shit. Once our plan succeeds, we won't have a problem. Really? It just bugs me to no end. It's like, seriously. Getting into the throne room that's not the challenge. Getting into the throne room that's the problem.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah, it's like, yeah, if he escapes, he'll return with another droid army. You'd think they'd be able to, like cobble together some other star systems, come up like, by the way, can you help? Because I find it very hard to believe that there are no star systems that are like, we're gonna send a fleet to stop the Trade Federation from just starving this planet. Ugh. Wipe them out, all of them. You have starfighters, just have them bomb the place to non-existence.
Yeah.
That's something that bugs the shit out of me in all Star Wars movies. They have a ground battle, yet they don't utilize air power. Seriously. I mean, granted, I'm willing to buy it like when they do it in like Return of the Jedi. I'm willing to buy it there because they're in the middle of a forest, good looking and fire support down there. But still, it's like here, they're in the middle of an open playing field. Have some droids just go on a few strafing runs. Like you don't even need to send out your army.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
Oh look, now they're protected from airstrikes. Happy?
Yeah. Oh, they have a shield.
Yeah.
Still, it's like they should have. Had they shown some scenes of it happening, then I'd be okay with it. But like I said, it's like you open up. This is the strategy you open up with. Don't have it be the backup.
Yeah. Dude, that group, like this hillside just looks like the background of a Windows 95 computer or something. The desktop. It's just so computerized CGI.
Yeah. Yeah, and here we got the little laser pointers, which they actually use little laser pointers as the actual thing.
Nice.
And apparently no one notices this. Well, hold on. They brought out this big cannon to tank out a tank, and then they just immediately have a retreat. Why not continuously use that gun? Does it only have one shot?
Maybe.
I guess. Oh, there it is. Well, why is it complete? There are still 3 tanks in the background. How did you not see this as a problem? Seriously. Why is he there? Leave him in the
You could have found somewhere safer to leave him.
Yeah, you couldn't be like, okay, hide in the forest. And here we see all the droids in the starfighter. Yeah, oh yeah, you died. Wilhelm scream. Yeah. And then R2 just mistakenly gets. Why is R2 there?
Because he's an astromech droid. They need him for help with the planes. I just like how Anakin's like, I'm gonna sit in this plane
Yeah,
or this fighter.
one plane
This
got
is
shot out of the sky.
clearly a safe place to hide.
Yeah. Although him going into a cockpit and then just sitting low, that would be a pretty good. Yeah, if you would just keep your head down, you're good. But the problem is he goes up.
Hide in a plane in a hangar where they're trying to destroy the fighters from leaving.
Yeah, that is true. It's like, it's like someone's gonna need that plane, buddy. So don't go in there. But yeah, and here we see apparently they only have one model of starfighter, which even in the modern military they don't. They have specific fighters because seriously, you need bombers, you need something for air superiority, and you need something to actually bomb the other shit out of whatever the hell you're targeting.
Yeah.
Because fighters need to be small and fast. Bombers, not so much. So duh. This is why, I'll shut up before I go into military.
Where's the Trade Federation getting the money for this droid army? Like, this just looks expensive to begin with. Yeah. Is this why they're trying to get taxes from, like, the people that they're, like, that they visit to pay for their army to, like, further subjugate the people they're taxing? Like,
yeah. Although there's something that something in the background there I noticed. They have the Gungans, they have the shield right here, and the Gungans are like back here. Have your guys right up against that shield to keep them out, to keep the freaking droids out of the shield. Because here's the thing, if they can get inside the shield, your shield is useless. So have your guys up against the shield.
Right, you think you'd have them like taking turns, stepping out, shooting, coming back to let the next wave out and shoot and come back in, like...
Well, that's what they did in Rome, in ancient Rome.
That's what I mean. Like, why? Because you're absolutely right. Why would you let them come into your shield? Because then your shield is useless. Yeah. I mean, it's still protecting you from air attacks. I'll give him that.
He just fell. There was a guy who just fell off the... Apparently, all the Gungans are incompetent because there was a guy who's on a horse. He's, like, reaching down and he just falls off in the background. He's like, what the fuck? But yeah, this is a very poorly conceived battle plan. It's like Operation Gungan Shield. Seriously. Yeah, shut up and sit down.
I wouldn't have even told him to stay in the cockpit. I'd be like, get out of that fighter and just hang in this hangar.
Hide in a corner. See that little shadow spot? Hide. Here's a bunch of blankets. Hide underneath those. Okay, yep. Here. All the guys go to the right, except for like 4 guys who go to the left. Where are they going? Aren't they all supposed to be going to the same place? You think they'd all go to the same place?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where the hell were those droids earlier?
Yeah, they've definitely just like circled back around into the hangar. It's like, where are you trying to go?
Yeah.
But that's okay. This song makes this whole movie being made.
We are talking. This is the best part of the prequel trilogy. The freaking music. Thank you, John Williams, for John freaking Williams. Which I do love how the Jedi are like, the Jedi are taking on Darth Maul. And the droids just, you think the droids would actually, aim at the Jedi and shoot. Although that just raises the question of how come when the door opens, how come all those guys didn't shoot automatically at once? And how do you not know what a trigger is, you dumbass?
How did none of them think of that? She has a ton of pilots with her. Why didn't they think of getting in the planes to do that shit?
Yeah, there are some pilots there. You're right. There are people there legitimately dressed like pilots. Yeah. This part.
He's being safe. He's putting his helmet on.
Yeah. And here. This part here we're getting to. Okay, they go into this other side room next to the hangar. What's the point of this room? Because it's just a giant room with a bunch of laser things going. What is
this
the point of
reactor room? I mean, right? Isn't this what all the like power rooms look like? The control panels.
You don't have a power generator right next to a hangar.
Yeah, sounds legit. Sounds about right.
And also no guardrails at all, too. So
I mean, that's something that...
But that's just Star Wars staple.
Exactly. We've been seeing that since A New Hope. Why change it now?
Oh man. And here, well, it's like, where are the other? Do they only have like 3 of the freaking destroyer droids? Where are the rest of them? Seriously, put a couple of those in their way. Now what? Yeah, you're gonna want to take that shit off. Oh no, they sent them all out here. And yeah, you guys really suck. Your cavalry is useless. You don't have cavalry running through the infantry. You have the cavalry go around and flanking your enemy. Oh, I'm just like, this battle is really poorly thought out. Literally, you're on a giant open plain. Go around. Literally, you have these things on these things, these horse thingies, whatever. I don't know what they're going to call them. Have them go around and attack the tanks from behind.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. Oh, you just got shot out. How come in every movie they always have that guy is like, there's too many of them, or they always have that line, and then that guy always dies.
Just to show that even the good side suffering losses.
Well, yeah, you don't have to have a guy going, there are too many of them, and then that guy's going to die. It's like almost like, oh, you shouldn't, even if you think that, you shouldn't say it. You gotta have confidence. And then also, the Astromechs, you think the Astromechs would actually speak in, like, actual human voice? Oh, an aileron roll is not a good trick. Because you're not going anywhere. You're sitting in the same spot and spinning. It's easy to shoot you.
That was not a good barrel roll.
No, that's not a barrel roll. That's an aileron roll.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He did not perform a good maneuver there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Just real quick, a barrel roll is when you actually move your fighter in like an actual barrel. An aileron roll is when you just turn the fighter around. Unlike what Star Fox
that's what I mean. I'm like, maybe he meant to do a barrel roll.
Yeah. So yeah, just don't believe what Star Fox tells you. That lies. There's that whole meme of do a barrel roll. So yeah. Also use bombs wisely. Yeah. And no, don't worry, they went past your forces, and you think you'd be like, oh shit, they went up a floor. Go up, get to the elevator now, droids.
Yeah, no, it's
fine. Ouch.
Yeah, we just saw Cassian Andor do something similar in Rogue One.
Yeah. I do like that part there where Qui-Gon just full on bitch slaps him and just whack. Oh.
Come on, like Obi-Wan's not even trying to there we go.
Yeah, it's like he
was
sat down there for
a very long time, I guess, trying to summon
10 seconds at least. Had you immediately just pulled yourself up and then jumped back up, you'd be back in the fight by now. Which this part here, Qui-Gon,
what is going on here? What are these red things? Like,
yeah, I was gonna mention that. Yeah.
What is the purpose of this room?
Yeah. Yeah, what are these what's the purpose of the red things, period? Oh, don't run into them, thank God. But yeah, it's like, and they apparently can deactivate a lightsaber, but don't worry, it only works for a little bit because his lightsaber comes back on later.
I don't think it's deactivated. I think he turned it off after he hit it.
Maybe.
I think he saw his lightsaber couldn't penetrate it, so he just shut it off.
Yeah. I do want to give this one point. If you actually look at what Ray Park is doing, he's pacing back and forth. It's very much like a caged animal. That's the only way I do like that. So, and granted, again, I give that emphasis to Ray Park because I don't know, because was George Lucas directing that? I don't know. Was George Lucas even on set? I don't know. So it makes sense that he's this, angry thing who's just pacing back and forth like, I'm going to kill you as soon as this cage is down. Uh-oh, watch out. There are a bunch of bombs rolling at you. Which gets me.
Yeah, they're just energy bombs, just like you said.
Yeah. It's like, what happens if you touch it? Or what happens if it hits you? Does it kill it? Because it's an energy thing. It looks like an EMP. You think it just killed the droid. Oh, that would hurt. That would hurt. Ow.
I kind of assume it would kind of be like if you hit like a big ball of electricity. It would be quite
he's holding one with his bare hand there.
But I guess the smaller ones, I don't know. I feel like throwing that, because you're right, catching it isn't really much less of an impact than if you were to miss and it hits your chest and explode. Like, how does it know?
Yeah.
It'd be like,
he just pulled you off your steed.
Why did you try to help Jar?
Hold on. He says to kill them all. Get the droids take prisoners. Like here it makes sense because they need to capture the queen. So you're gonna capture these guys. Whee! Flying around. And here it's like Anakin was because in the later movies, like even when I met him, he was a great pilot. How do you know? This doesn't look like great piloting. He literally crashes here.
But he won that one pod race.
Yeah, I guess. Even though there's a big difference between pod racing and flying, but
apparently not.
Yeah. Apparently, you know how to drive a car. Apparently, you know how to fly an F-15. Why not? Yeah, everything's dead. So like I said, he's just walking back and forth like a caged animal. So I do like that emphasis. But the question I was bringing up is, why are you chasing him down this hallway? Don't you see this gives him the advantage? You're chasing it. But you can't use your number. Seriously, he has the advantage in this situation. Leave him in the hangar where Obi-Wan can get behind him. So because in this situation, you have no advantage. He has all the advantage because he has two weapons. You don't. You need Obi-Wan to be able to get behind him. But in this room, which has a hole that goes nowhere, apparently, you die.
Stabbed him, right? Yeah.
Well, he did punch him in the face first. If you look close, if you watch closely, because it does look like he just.
He startles him and then he stabs him.
Yeah,
I feel like that might be like the first time you see someone use a lightsaber to like stab someone like that.
Yeah. But again, they said wipe them out, all of them. Yet the droids are taking prisoners. Why aren't they just shooting them?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know some people have gone on like, oh, Jar Jar, he's committing treason by, surrendering. And it's not treason for a general to surrender, okay? I can think of plenty of times in world history where it's happened. So it's not treason. If you're in a situation where it's you either fight or die, it's okay to say surrender. And obviously that one, the one that shot off the droid's head, that one's obviously Keira Knightley, and this one's Padme.
Obviously, because Natalie Portman's right there.
Yeah, and apparently they didn't bother clearing out the freaking chair of guns because you'd think they'd realize. Yeah. Yep. Now we'll discuss a new treaty. Yeah. How do they know when the Force are going to go inactive?
Because the Force tells them.
The Force tells them, because that's something that always gets me. It's like they turn the lightsaber on. It's like, is it the lightsabers turning off the drawers, or because it's not in there. Finally, cut the lightsaber. Here we see Darth Maul on his back, and have I shown you the? Have I ever shown you the video of the totally found? Yeah, it's like he's spinning his lightsaber around instead of just slashing at him. Which again, if you haven't looked, if you're listening to me, go to YouTube and look up the Totally Phantom Menace. Seriously, it's hilarious. So as soon as we're done with this movie, go to YouTube and look up Totally Phantom Menace. Totally worth it.
No, Obi-Wan's lightsaber.
Oh no! And also, we need to point out Darth Maul has the high ground. Keep that in mind. He has the high ground. So, thank God your fighter came back online. And here's the question: why is the reactor there?
I don't think anyone thought about the actual design of this place when they built it.
Clearly not. I mean, here's what they could have said. His bomb hit the armory and caused a bunch of other bombs to explode. That's what you
the
could have said.
reactor is just in the hangar. It's fine. Makes perfect sense. Because it's not like during a fight the enemy would purposely try to bomb the hangars and thus putting reactors there would be a bad idea.
You never think you target the most vulnerable part of the thing. Yeah. Yeah. There's one guy, I always like that kind of hillbilly type yell. I always kind of like that, but still.
Did Anakin say yippee? I don't think he did.
No, he was saying woo, but he wasn't saying yippee. And here's the main ship goes down, and all the droids shut down. And how does that droid's head fall off if all it did is turned off the power? It must have been damaged.
Apparently, once they're
damaged in the battle some way. It must have been damaged in the battle some way. Like someone hit it with a stick or something. I don't know. Because I will say the droids that they use are pretty clearly cheaply made, but yeah. And again, it's over, and again, it's over Obi-Wan. I have the high ground. But no, he just, which I watched a panel online of Ray Park because someone asked him, how do you feel about dying at the end of Phantom Menace? And his literal words was disgusted, because he didn't like that, because there was a whole scene of actually Obi-Wan fighting with Qui-Gon's lightsaber and then gets the better of him, but no, I have the high ground, and I'm just not going to do anything to prevent you from. Or maybe that's how Obi-Wan knew what to do, because he knew.
Oh man, I jumped over him. He totally could have sliced me to pieces. I'm gonna have to remember this. That was a terrible idea.
So that's how he knows.
Wait, how is Qui-Gon not actually dead? Oh, now he's dead.
Well, okay, being fair, I know of cases of people being brutally impaled like that with swords and living on for not a few hours, for almost days afterwards. So, yeah,
but that's the thing, right? So when you get impaled by a lightsaber, the lightsaber cauterizes as it impales you. So you're either going to die right away because they got a major organ, or
you're gonna live.
Everything's gonna get sealed by the cauterization.
And
based gonna be in pain.
Yeah, and based on where it hit him in like his stomach. He would be in a lot of pain, but he'd live. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which something else we should mention. We saw earlier there was like hundreds of these ships around the planet, yet they only took out one. Where were the other ships? Did they all go home? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, and now Senator Palpatine is Chancellor Palpatine.
Yeah. Well, we also should mention how Ian McDiarmid, he played Palpatine or he played the Emperor in Return of the Jedi, and hey, we're making the prequels. Hey, Ian McDiarmid, which is exactly what we mentioned when we did the later. Thank God we hired this actor who could sing the same role 30 years earlier. Which, granted, when he did the Emperor in the later movies, they obviously made him look very old. So,
right, there's a lot of makeup.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I gave Qui-Gon my word. It's like, if without the approval, the Jedi don't make any sense.
How does that work? Wouldn't that just get you kicked out? I can't let you do that. I can't let you bring him in, even if you train him without my approval. I'm not accepting this kid into the Jedi Council.
No doubt. It doesn't. The Jedi Order makes no sense.
No, it does not.
Yeah, which is something we've gone on a number of times, but still. Yeah, and here they have the whole funeral pyre of blah blah blah. Yeah. That's mind you, it's obvious what they're doing, but still, it's obviously a callback to Darth Vader when they showed Vader helmets in the fire, but still. Yeah. Now, if I remember correctly, Yoda and Mace Windu are also there, but it's like, what? Why would they have the funeral here? Why wouldn't they be holding the funeral at at the Jedi Temple or something?
Yeah, why wouldn't you take his body back? Oh yeah, they are there. Why wouldn't you take his body back to Coruscant? Why would you have it on a boot?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. None of this makes sense.
But obviously, there's sometimes 3 because the apprentice has an apprentice until one of them kills the other.
Yeah. Oh! Who's the master of the apprentice? And we get a
foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing. Thank you. So yeah, but I mean, granted, if you growing up, if you watch Star Wars, you automatically know. So yeah. Oh, jeez. And here, a whole triumph parade is the only way to describe it. It's a triumph.
I love how all these extras and actors are just standing here, like in celebration of people who aren't actually there.
Yeah. But yeah, this is very much modeled after.
What is going on?
Yeah, no, like I said, this is very much modeled after a triumph, which is a Roman thing. And hold on, isn't that Jedi in the background with what eye? Isn't he in the Clone Wars too? I think he is. Is he?
He might be. I don't remember honestly.
I think he is. Because he was standing right behind Anakin for a second, and we saw him. He's not there anymore. I don't know where he is now. But I swear to God, he was in Clone Wars, but I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah. No. Yeah, and here this look of we're totally gonna get married 10 years from now. Even though I'm 9 years old and you're 14 at this time, which mind you, as a kid, when I was 9 years old, I was not attracted to anybody. But then again, boy, I don't know, because girls do mature faster than boys. I don't know if you were. I don't know if you were like, even at 9, that does seem.
Like at 9, you might have like a crush on someone, but like it's nothing.
Yeah. Although granted, my first crush was the Pink Power Ranger, but still, I think that's every boy's first crush, Pink Power Ranger. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of people our age.
Yep. So, and your first crush was probably Tommy Oliver, then the Green Power Ranger.
No, it was Billy, the Blue Ranger. Thank you.
Until it became Orlando Bloom.
Well, yeah.
Oh, come on. You walked right into that one.
I did. I guess from the time I was 5 until whenever Billy finally left Power Rangers, because, God, he was on it for way too long.
Oh, God. He was on 1, 2, 3. He was almost on 4 seasons.
Yeah.
He was on the first 3, and he left during the 4th.
I stopped watching after the second movie because my parents didn't take me to movies. And so I didn't see the Turbo movie. So when I came back to the season and the TV show suddenly heavily relied on you seeing the movie, I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. I stopped watching Power Rangers after not the original red, black, and yellow Rangers, not the originals left, but after their replacements left.
That's
so do you remember Adam, Rocky, and Aisha? Yeah, when they left, that's when I quit watching. Because after that, it's kind of like, what's the point of replacing these guys? So yeah, but anyway.
But anyway, enough of Power Rangers and first crushes. That was the Phantom Menace. Yay!
Yeah. And it does need to be said, of all the air, because here's the thing, Ewan McGregor is the only one there who really hit it out of the park. Ewan McGregor is the only one I'm like, yes, that's a good performance. Everybody else is just kind of.
No, Liam Neeson did a very good job too, though. Like, Ewan McGregor was barely even in the movie, honestly. Like, good that point. Movie was Qui-Gon Jinn.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is just the problem I have of all the prequel movies is these. You can tell there was no director on set because you got Samuel L. Jackson there, who could have been anybody. You had, I mean, honestly, almost everybody there. You could have put anybody in those roles and would have done fine. It's because they didn't have a director on set going, "Hey, do this. This is how you," because that's how you get. This doesn't really mention here, but Hayden Christensen is a great example. in the next movie and Return of the Jedi, Hayden Christensen does not do a good job, but he is a good actor. He did really well in Shattered Glass. He was really good in that. He's an actor. He needs a director to go. He needs a director to direct him. He can't just do it all himself.
Well, otherwise, you have all these actors who have a different idea in their head on how the scene's going to go, and it shows, and that's when things go to crap.
Yeah.
That's why you need the director to be able to set the scene for everybody so that everybody literally has the same, mindset on what to do.
Yeah. Well, it reminds, it's just, because how do I put it? Because there are certain ways you can read certain lines, because if you say something sarcastically, it's obviously gonna have that inflection versus if you just say it normally. And so if you have two actors who are two different ways, it's gonna show. So for example, if oh my god, have you ever seen the Digimon movie?
No.
Well, there's a part in that where it's like a character's bawling his eyeballs out, and everybody else is laughing. It's that badly cut. And it's just because of how it's you need a director to go. It's you need a director to go. Okay, no, this is a sad scene. Everybody needs to cry, or this is a comedic scene. Everybody laugh.
Right.
You can't just be okay, you laugh and you cry. It doesn't fit.
No.
So I will never forget that. It's literally a scene of he's like, this is the saddest story I've ever heard, and everybody else is almost in the background laughing. It's horrible. Seriously. Yeah. Which there's a movie we will never do. We will never ever do the Digimon movie. We may do the Pokemon movies. Maybe.
Hey, did we get cut off again?
I don't think so. Mine says it's still on.
Okay. Because I have a notification on my screen that says error occurred. And I don't know what that means.
Mine says it's still on.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm still streaming. Let me pull up. So I don't know. Huh, weird. So who knows? So yeah. But yeah, that was the Phantom Menace. Yeah. Before we go, we do need to mention you're not going to be here the next 2 weeks, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I think we're just gonna take the next 2 weeks off, because unless if you're watching and you want to do a movie with me, feel free to message me, and then we can certainly do that. I mean, obviously, if Marie's not gonna be here, I don't think she'll hold it against us if we do another movie without her.
Nope.
Especially if it's like Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Okay.
Which I want to hear you snark that one. So but yeah, so honest, I think we're just gonna take the next 2 weeks off unless someone messages me that they want to do a movie. So again, if you want to do a movie, any movie, let me know, and then we can do that. But other than that, I think we're just gonna take the next 2 weeks off. So again, thanks everybody for watching. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.